Hello, it's Yasmin Choudhury here, and I guess that today in my YouTube channel, which I haven't updated in ages, I want to talk about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. But yes, those of you who are connected to me on Twitter know me as @YasminIsYasmin. And also on YouTube, I'm known as Mizzy, or as I say, Miss Yasmin is Yasmin. So look, straight in, I don't normally comment on celebrities. I don't like to. I mean, I see the news, obviously. What intrigued me and what's really, really dismayed and caused me to get my smartphone out and start videoing and putting us on YouTube is because it relates to an issue that I often write about and I'm really, really interested in because it's very complex, that of domestic abuse. And that's why I want to talk about this very quickly. Firstly, I just think it's really sad at how Amber Heard is being vilified. And I think that as time constantly proves again and again, this is a lot to do with misogyny and the way that she's being called gold digger. It's a very, very brave thing for anyone to actually, who is high profile especially as well, but anyone to actually bring allegations of domestic abuse, especially against a Hollywood favourite. In a way, he's due to be a Hollywood elder, isn't he, Johnny Depp? He's just big, he's enormous. And the thing is, how people are disrespecting a victim's right to bring serious criminal allegations is disgusting. I think that any victim needs support, needs to be left alone and allow the due judicial process to go through. But that's not being allowed to happen. And of course, what you've got now is both camps, kind of like slinging mud. And that's really dismayed me because the other thing is why it's so important is that I think there are millions of women, and especially men as well, because men can get abused, people who are in very, very toxic, abusive, horrid relationships, be it at the hands of their partner or their family, are watching and looking on. And I don't want to see the debate regress. I want to see this as a catalyst to move the debate forward and actually see some of the most complex issues that we as a society find solutions for. But how can we? Because this is also the next thing that's disgusted me is trial by internet. And it doesn't help that the Daily Beast and TMZ or whatever, these gossip websites are circulating pictures or the court papers. I mean, I don't know how Amber Heard's face got, it went viral. Why is her photograph of her face with her injuries going round? I don't know how they can get hold of that. And how do you expect a jury to remain impartial? It's so wrong. It's just disgusting. And I think these websites or these information channels should take responsibility. And, I wish the law would change to turn around and say, irrespective of celebrities, when there's criminal allegations, nobody should be allowed to report it, or there should be no evidence that might be used in a trial or court proceedings. Anyone who does that should just get fined. I think it's disgusting. I think the other thing is, in all of this, is that there is now tidbits of information coming out. Like, for example, I believe the police said that when they visited the residents, they found no evidence of criminal activity. Now, if someone, and that's being reported, is reading that, it's just adding fuel to the fire. But it concerns me as to why all this information is coming out. It's so wrong, because I would imagine that she, especially if she is a victim, because we do have to wait and allow and find out who is telling the truth, must be having a horrific time. She needs all the support, and it's disgusting that there's people going around trying to, second guess her motives, because surely whatever her motives are, that will come out in court. Whether she's a quote mark gold digger, or whether she's got disingenuous reasons for actually claiming abuse because she wants a higher financial settlement, everyone just should be quiet. But I think the other thing that's really, really, dismayed me is the way that everyone forgets innocent until proven guilty. So yes, you should give the victim and afford him or her the respect to bring their allegations to court, yeah? But also innocent until proven guilty, for goodness sake. If we lose that, then we as a society lose everything. We lose our very humanity, because there are miscarriages of justice. And I read about one today, and when I'll link it, when I read it and I heard about this story of a British man who was falsely accused of rape, my heart broke for him. It was disgusting. And so, it's really important that people do remember innocent until proven guilty. But the other thing is, of course, there's a restraining order. And I don't know how restraining orders in America work, but I would imagine the judge would have had some evidence. Okay, so that means Johnny Depp can't go near Amber Heard within a geographical radius or something. Now, does that mean that if that meant that by giving a restraining order someone is automatically guilty, then surely the judge would have claimed that. But there's some people saying, oh, because he's got a restraining order, because Amber Heard's got a restraining order, that must mean Johnny Depp is guilty. Well, no, because there has to be a formal court trial, and that's why evidence needs to be looked at. And then, as far as I'm concerned, if the courts can prove that, because nobody knows what goes on behind closed doors, I'd be the first person to turn around and call any abuser scum, and that, he deserves every piece of justice coming his way. But equally, if there is a victim who's claiming all this allegation, I'm just saying, and then the court finds that it's not true, then that person deserves every piece of justice coming their way. It's just a very, very sorry, sad state of affairs. I think the other thing that has made me want to discuss this is because I used to be in public relations, and I used to work for top companies in London. And one of the things we'd be involved in is crisis management or reputational risk. So when things go wrong, oh God, it's Sunday afternoon, I'm so tired. When things go wrong, you'd advise them. And I've been very fortunate in working for some of the big companies, and sometimes there used to be awful crises. And this is what I was going to come to, because as I watch all of this, you've got both camps obviously having bad advisors. I think possibly Johnny Depp less so. I mean, it really doesn't help, and it irritates the hell out of me to see that the likes of Mickey Rourke and Paul Bettany are coming out and his first wife saying, oh, he's a really nice guy, he's really gentle. That is the first thing I want to say is wrong. Honestly, friends should just shut up, because that does not look good. That is ridiculous to claim that just because somebody might be gentle or nice for 20 years, they're not capable of abuse. Of course they are. People can flip, especially if they are taking substances or if they're drunk. To turn around and say, oh, somebody was really nice, or, for example, his second wife, there was nothing much about him, is rubbish. People can change. Human beings can get really affected, depending, and there can be triggers. Who knows? We just don't know. But I really don't like that argument where people say, oh, he was so nice and he's a gentle giant. It's rubbish. It's absolutely insulting. Anyone can be an abuser. And actually, anyone who knows, especially emotional and psychological sociopaths, wherever, they wear masks. They can actually disguise this for decades. You won't even know. They can be the kind of dangerous, charming person, but I'm just been watching a program about Nina Simone, and her biography is tragic because I had no idea she was so beaten up by her husband. There was one incident where she was talking about how he actually just beat her up and rained blows, and she had to go and be rescued by a friend, and she disappeared for 2 weeks, and then he turned up and spoke to her and said, where have you been? Because I've been looking for you for 2 weeks. And Nina Simone turned around to her husband and said, well, because you beat me up. You did this to me. And apparently it was so bad, the way he absolutely punched the living daylights out of her. And her husband's reply was, no, I didn't do anything to you. At which point Nina Simone turned around and said, you're insane. And this is what they do. They can adopt masks of incredible deception and treachery. Because it's sickening. It's sickening that they can treat another human being. And this is the thing. When it comes to domestic abuse, no amount of abuse, doesn't matter whether it's once or 50 times, no human being should ever be touched, because any unwanted and any forceful method of touching is unacceptable, right? It just is. And there's no caveat to that. There is no explanation. But then to see people who are rich, who should know better, who actually, are privileged, coming out with rubbish, disgusting comments of, oh, how can this be possible? Because Johnny Depp, who I believe actually was a bit of a hellraiser anyway, in terms of, I believe he was, bit of a rebel, etc. Did he ever, I think, smash up hotel rooms? I don't know. But, it's okay to be the bad boy of Hollywood. But as soon as a woman brings claims and allegations, the correct response is to say, let's allow the right judicial process to see it through. And we're confident that Johnny will be cleared. His name will be cleared, yeah? But I think the other interesting thing is that Johnny Depp's advisors have also issued a statement. And I note that they don't deny and reject that he has never hit Amber Heard. And they're now coming to Amber Heard's advisors, who I think, actually, she's the one who's worst off. In all of this, Amber Heard's advisors and her circle of friends, whatever they're doing, if I was her advisor, I'd say, you know what, this is not the correct form of action you're taking. And let me tell you what I mean by correct form of action. Absolutely, she should report the crime and hope that, the evidence is sufficient enough so that her claims and allegations will be proved correct, yeah? But after the death of his mother, on the eve of his premiere, and to then file for not only charges of domestic abuse, but also to petition for divorce and then claim for financial settlements or claim pots of money, like, for example, $50,000 a month maintenance, right to stay at the marital home, which the judge has granted her. She wanted her legal bills paid. Given if Amber Heard is an independent, successful woman, which she is in her own right, all right? Because she wasn't just some, woman he picked up who's very ordinary with her very little income of her own. Amber Heard is her own successful actress, yeah, in her own right. Her advisors should have been working on her best interest, not only in the short term, but to get her through this process, because society vilifies women, irrespective, even the ones who might have 100% concrete proof. As we have seen, look at the struggle these women had with Bill Cosby to actually claim abuse against a major Hollywood star like Johnny Depp is huge. Even if it's true, there will be people trying to shut them up. So therefore, the issue is to take her through this process, keep her safe, keep her well, but not just that, make sure she has a career after this, or, has her reputation and her integrity kept intact, because by allowing it to go through the judicial process, not to have claimed for money, because that's what I would have advised. I said, don't touch a penny of his money. Just turn around and say, I want to have a divorce because actually he has been abusive, and show the evidence, go through court and say, I just want to step away. I have my own money. That would have, I believe, made her so dignified and, made the focus of attention on the abuse, yeah? Because that's how you shut up your detractors. And what would have happened is, if the evidence is strong enough, then after the court case, he would have been finished. And that's when you would have seen someone like Amber Heard become even more of a phenomenon, because by then, I bet you United Nations would have been knocking on her door saying, oh, Miss Heard, come and be our ambassador. She would be in a position, and you'd see all of sycophantic Hollywood fawning over her, because that's how it works, all right? There's crises, Hollywood, no one is bigger than Hollywood, all right? They churn out stars, they actually can leave them, dump them, whatever. And especially in this modern world, nobody wants to be seen working with a man who actually beats up women. And Amber Heard would have then had, the world at her feet, and she would be able to command so much more. And that's the thing I was talking about. Those who really care for Amber Heard will look at her long-term well-being, yeah, every step of the way, and keep her safe and keep her protected. But obviously, I don't believe this has happened, because the other thing is, lawyers, and I come to this, lawyers are the ones who benefit, both camps. And what has happened is that in the legal world, you can obviously do out-of-court settlement. And when I was hearing about all the allegations and the claim for money and, all these photographs, etc., One of the things I know is that lawyers will be keen to get as much as possible in an out-of-court settlement, because nobody wants to go to court unless they have to. And sometimes they attach and obviously make sure that all the incendiary evidence is there, so that will encourage the other side to settle, i.e. Johnny Depp. Because it's in their interest, because the more money they settle for, the more money lawyers make. And it's because of this, that's why I have utter, I believe, disrespect, because the lawyers in all of this, are they really looking after the well-beings of two people who once were in love? Doesn't matter. It's really sad and tragic to see two people who once were in love come to this. You know, it should have been kept as small, private, over and done with as possible. And I just wonder why and how much they notice they actually gave to Johnny Depp's side that they were doing this. It's just really shocking. And, you know, before I go, this is all I was going to say, is that in situations like this, in crisis, you have to be careful who swims with you. And if you're swimming with sharks, you know what happens. Sharks don't swim with you to play with you and look after you. No. The only thing sharks want to do is eat you. And that's why you have to be really, really careful. And I hope that Amber Heard gets the help and support that she needs with people who really care about her. Because if she's already gone through this, the last thing she needs is to be utterly vilified or to find that she's gone through court. And, you know, there can be cases as well where the evidence is there, but it just wasn't enough. And third parties also get involved, because at the end of the day, no one's going to live Amber Heard's life apart from herself. And after all the melee has died down, she'll be the one facing her future, because those lawyers are always there if you give them a paycheck. Anyway, that's all I want to say, and I really hope that they sort this out. And I just hope that, if anything at all, what comes out of this is that the debate on domestic violence and abuse, it is actually talked about in a really, really progressive manner. I don't want us to go backward, but I'm scared this kind of incident and scenario might do just that, making it harder for especially women to step forward and, you know, talk about the abuse they've suffered at the hands of others. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.